Hey everybody, David Cook, D'Franco Painting Wallpaper coming at you. We're here in our shop working on some cabinets. So today's video is if you have oak cabinets, how do you fill the grain? Let's take a peek. All right, so we're here in our shop and we have a couple doors that we are working on. So this cabinet, this is a provincial oak, and so the customer wants some of this grain to go away. So how we do that is we actually roll our first coat of primer on. So Stix primer is our go-to primer, and we use these microfiber rollers we have from Sherwin-Williams. They work really good. We were using foam, and we found out these actually work a lot better. It's a thinner nap. We can get it in there a little bit more, and it doesn't leave a lot of bubbles and odd textures to the surface when we're using it. So we have another cabinet that they wanted it sprayed, and they didn't really want the grain to go away. So you can kind of see that oak and what that looks like on an oak cabinet that's been sprayed versus rolled. So what we're going to do is find a can opener. Here we go. We ran out of white today, so we're waiting on a shipment, but for what we're doing, this is tinted gray for some of the darker colors, but for what we're doing, it works because it's just, again, we're just demoing. So I'm just getting a little bit on the roller and I'm gonna roll it on. I'm gonna roll it back and forth because you can see if you don't keep going back and forth, you'll get these highlights where it's hitting the grain and it's not getting in there all the way. So you want to make sure you roll it back and forth several times, kind of pushing it in there. You want to make sure you kind of force that primer to get in all the grain so you have a solid uniform surface of primer. And again, if you're not doing it all the way, that's what you'll get. You'll still see the grain, and we want to get rid of as much of these little grain or veins as possible. And I just use the roller to kind of stick it in everywhere. The places that you actually have the hardest time is the edges. So when you go on there, a quick roll, that's what you get. You really have to push the primer in there to get rid of all those little nooks, crannies, and grain that you'll see in oak. And usually we'll have to do 2 on the edges, but it kind of gives you an idea. That's what we're looking for. You can see it from the side. You can still see the oak, but from the front, you're not seeing all those pits like we did with that. And so we're gonna let this primer dry. I'm not gonna do the whole thing because we're just demoing how we do it. Once that's dry, we use a Festool sander, and the Festool that we use, you can use any sander as long as it's got good sandpaper. You don't want to leave marks. You want to have a vacuum on there. And we're just going to power sand this one. So this one I've already done. It's dry, and because it's noisy, I didn't use a power sander. So you can kind of see what that looks like. And we're going to put still another coat of primer on here, but from how that looks compared to that, huge difference. So some of this part is from where the handles were. So fingernails, they do a little bit indenting. And so all we're gonna do is roll this out one more time on the front, and then when that dries, we're gonna sand it, and then we'll be spraying our top coat right over it. So that is how we get rid of the oak grain. And this is a door, we've painted this one a lot. So it's a sample door, but you can kind of see this has probably got about 6 different coats of paint on it. After this is probably the last time we'll use it, I leave it in my truck. And I've done other videos where this is, paint chips or whatever. But you can kind of see this was an oak door. And after painting it and priming it several times, you can see that reflection. It's pretty smooth. And from the front, you don't see any of that oak grain at all. So that's what's possible with rolling the primer on there. They have the fillers. We've used the fillers. You put them on, scrape them on, but they sand really hard. They're hard to get off. You're gonna use a lot of time and effort with your sanders to get that smooth again. And we found with the primer, it dries. You're sanding it with the Stix. Temperature's good. You put a fan on it, and you're sanding within a half hour, 40 minutes. And you're putting a second coat on there, and you're sanding again in a half hour, 40 minutes. So within a day, you get your coat of primers on everything that you need, and you're painting right away. So that's how we tackle filling grain. The heavy getting rid of it like this. We've had a couple customers do it. For the most part, we don't go to that extent. A lot of people still like the fact that they can tell it's an oak door. That's just been our experience. But we can help however you want. If you want it filled all the way, we can do that too. Hope this helps you guys as far as if you have oak cabinets that you're looking to fill grain. Hope this was helpful and beneficial for you. Hopefully you subscribe to our channel. Hopefully you like some of the other videos. If you got any questions, let us know. Feel free to leave a comment below. We'll get back to you as soon as we see the comments pop up. And I hope you guys have a great day. God bless.